I have another quote of the day, and with this quote of the day, it really, really. I always say, in the quotes of the day, kind of hit me hard and stuff like that. But this particular one really, really spoke to me personally because it's something that I realized that I need to work on more, whether it be personally, or with my business that I'm trying to go and finance, with my TikTok and my social media stuff, and I'm trying to build, and my podcast and everything. And the quote is, "Work harder on yourself than you do your job." And the reason it hit me so hard, and it'll probably hit other people that are listening to this hard as well, is because we tend to we tend to do that. We tend to not really focus on ourselves. We tend to put all into our place of employment, place of work, because we either have to pay bills, make sure family's fed, make sure we get to keep a roof over our heads, and so on and so forth, that we kind of forget about our physical and our mental well-beings. And also we kind of forget how to we kind of forget how to dream, and we forget how that we forget how that we may have started projects before, we may have tried to start a business, we may have tried to start to grow something, but our because of jobs, we tend to lose sight of that and completely abandon those. But as far as myself, what I really took from the quote was to focus on yourself first, and make sure yourself is good before you worry about anything else. And also, what I took from it was, use whatever use whatever free time you may have if you're trying to build something, and go completely 100% on working and building in those in that if you have like a limited amount of time, if you have days off, like, use that time to work on yourself and better yourself and build what you're trying to build. And for me, it's been difficult because I have a tendency to be really, really inconsistent with stuff like that. I've started to be better with it, but before it was a lot of, okay, I'm definitely gonna work on this, and I do really good for a couple of weeks, and then I fall off, and then I fall back to what's comfortable, and then I'm always focused on my job, and just working my job, and not really focused on better myself. And then I'll be like, oh, I definitely need to start doing this again, so I'll start doing it for a couple of weeks, and then fall off. But um lately lately what I've been doing to make sure that I stay consistent, especially with social media stuff, is during the week, since I work, obviously, since most of I work at a gym. I use those days during the week after I get off of work and I'm working out. I use those days to record gym content. On days that I'm not working, I record discussion topics, quotes of the day, like this, and stuff like that, because this is something that I want to build and I want to grow, because I want to be able to show you know fitness brands, and bigger fitness entities, and even just in general, I want to be able to show them that it's not a one size fit, like, it's not just a one type of body type of thing, that everybody can be into fitness. And I want to be motivation for people like myself who have disabilities and stuff like that, to show them that they're able to be more successful with whatever they want to do. And if TikTok or social media is the route to go, use me. You can use me as a blueprint. And also what I'm working on being more consistent with is with my mentor when it comes to working on my business and finance. I'm definitely starting to to be more consistent with that. I'm even using what I'm doing with social media on this page, and I'm using it towards my business. I made a whole nother page, and I'm working on stuff for that. That's something I'm gonna do after I finish recording videos for these, and I know I completely went off on a side tangent, but that goes back to the quote of work harder on yourself than you do your job, and that's something that I'm working on, and I hope I'm being more consistent with, because I'm trying to be better mentally. I'm trying to be better physically, and it's just a reminder also to those who may think that their job that they're at is all that they're good at. No, you can definitely just remember you had dreams and you had goals before you started the job. Whether that job may have been the goal, I know you had dreams to go higher. Work harder at going higher in that job if that job was your goal. Or if you want to start a business, work hard. Use the if you have free time, use that little free time that you do have to start working on your business. If you want to build a social media platform, use that small little small time that you may have to do that. If you want to get better physically, with fitness and stuff, you can always find little things to do to better yourself, and not to excuse me, and like I was saying, you can always find little ways to better yourself and improve, and work on yourself. You're not Just because we have a job doesn't mean we have to make that job our entire life, that we forget that we're human beings, or we're people with goals and aspirations and personalities and stuff. So as far as the quote, again, like I was saying, that's what I took from the quote. And if you guys have any comments about the quote, I'd love to read them. I'd love to hear them. If you guys want to make response videos to this quote, definitely do so, and I'll be back for the next one.